What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Paul and Chris.
Latest on Big Brother 18, episodes 4 and 5. And we got a lot to talk about today.
That's right, guys. This is Reality Room Podcast, episode 22. So let's jump right into the episode, the veto and the eviction episode. So,
yes,
Chris?
So a lot of stuff has been going on. We're on day 8. Paul's, up for eviction.
Yeah.
And the Be Roadkill nominee nominated Paul. They think it's Michelle. She's part of the revolution. Jose's cocky about getting the veto. Nicole does damage control to Paul. Josea is saying that it was Michelle. Paul and Bridget are flirting with each other. Paul is concerned about this, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Victor says that Bridget might be flip-flopping. Bronte says working with Paul, Mitch, and Josea are beneficial for their games, for the Spy Girls Alliance. And we find out who the veto players are. So Nicole, Paul, Paulie, and Jose are playing for the veto competition. Nicole picks up Devon, and then Nicole gets to choose one person, and she chooses Corey. How do you feel about that?
Right, so this is very good for the 8-Pack Alliance and also the Fatal 5, which we'll talk about later. But this is very good for the 8-Pack because it's a lot of the players in right now are part of the 8-Pack. The 3 players that aren't on the block are the 3 that are part of the 8-Pack Alliance. And plus Paulie as well. He's on the outskirts of it, but he would obviously... he wouldn't take Jose or Paul off, obviously. He would take himself off. So that would be very good. So they wanted to make sure that Victor wasn't... picked up, and he wasn't because he's a very strong physical threat, and he wasn't, so thank goodness for them.
Right. So James and Frank are obviously happy about this. Frank is playing Josea because Josea thinks he's staying no matter what, and because apparently everyone loves Josea.
And honestly, it's very good that Frank and James aren't in the veto competition, because if they won, Jose and Paul would expect them to use the veto on them, because as of right now, they think that they're voting Paulie out.
Right, exactly.
So they would expect them to probably use the veto. But, it's a little complicated, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's good that they're not playing.
Right. So James pranks Paul, puts whipped cream on his hand, and they have this whole big shindig thing. Another prank from James.
Yeah.
Yada yada. Ha ha ha. So
pranks are getting a little old now.
It's been a year. We've already got all that stuff from last year. We already know James is a prankster.
It was funnier when he pranked Steve last year with it.
Yeah. So Michelle is hosting the competition. She has like this big red fire hydrant thing on her. That was pretty cute.
Classy.
So the competition, they have to spin 15 times in this circular thing or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And they have to stack doggy treats, 40 doggy treats all together. If the clock hits 0, then they're pretty much out of the game.
Right. And basically the strategies that they have going forward, Paulie, he tries to make like a very rigid structure, works pretty slowly but very efficiently. Then I just see like other players like Paul
trying to stuff all that in there.
Yeah, what the hell is he doing? That thing
it's working though.
It has no foundation though. Like there's no way they designed the competition for it to be played like that. They designed it to do it as Paulie was doing it probably.
Yeah. But good.
So we'll just tell you the results.
So guess who wins veto? It is Paul.
That's right. Paul won the veto. We mentioned this in the last episode, so it's not too surprising. But he won it just by doing crazy stacking, and then just rushing over toward the button. In all honesty, though, there's no way that structure would ever last more than 5 minutes. It would fall off in a heartbeat. I mean, let's get real here.
Yeah, right. So Bridget's nervous because she thinks she's going to be nominated for eviction, foreshadowing. Tiffany tells Paulie that she's Vanessa's sister, gaining trust for Paulie because Paulie's Cody's brother.
Right.
And she's going to use Paulie in her back pocket.
Yeah.
From what she says.
Yeah, but
how do you feel about that?
I mean, I believe this occurred like a little before the roadkill competition, so I'm a little surprised that they showed it afterwards.
Yeah.
I feel like the editing is done very bizarrely. This season, or maybe that's every season. I'm only just noticing more now. Yeah. But I think it's smart for her to let him know that. She already told most of the 8-Pack Alliance already, and they're all okay with it. So her telling Paulie, who's also a sibling, it builds trust, and I think that's what she's trying to do.
Right. So Jose and Frank talk. I forget who said this. I think this is Frank who said it. I'm CEO on my mind. I just have a quote like that. I'm pretty sure that's Frank, but
CEO in my mind. All right.
Whatever. Sounds so like Joey wants Frank in the group.
Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever.
So there's some funny things about that, like in the feeds or whatever. Like Paul or someone walked up to Frank and they're like, "Listen, we have 6 secure votes to vote out Paulie," and they name like everyone in their alliance, and he's telling this to Frank, and he's like, "What about me? I'm a secure vote against Paulie." He was just really funny.
Okay, I don't know.
Because he's voting out Jose.
So Frank thinks it's stupid that Jose thinks he's the Messiah, which is they literally been talking, like, he just keeps thinking he's, like, the Messiah of the fucking house. I don't know why he's being this cocky about it. It's not how you play Big Brother.
I'm just waiting for his crucifixion. That's all I'm waiting for.
Yeah, right? So, let's talk about the Spy Girl's first mission.
Oh my god. So stupid. And they tell 10 people in the house. Right?
So Bridget goes upstairs. Jose has the house meeting, and the Spy Girls are like, "Bridget, go upstairs and try to distract them."
And this is literally a meeting. Like, everyone in the house is in the meeting. James sneaks in too, and he's not even supposed to be there.
And Tiffany gets in there as well.
Tiffany gets in there, and they're basically like, "Okay, listen, guys. We're gonna vote Paulie out. Okay, that's all we can do. Okay, we have the numbers to vote Paulie out.
Yeah,
and we're gonna group in and take out those bets, and we're gonna run this game. Okay, we're gonna run this game. Okay."
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Jose's like, "Where's Bridget?"
Bridget's upstairs, and Bronte was like, "Bridget's upstairs watching them." Listening to them. What the fuck does that mean, Bronte?
And Devon, Tiff, and James are just like, Did she really just say that?
Oh my god.
You don't tell the house guest if your alliance member is spying on the other side of the house. When the other people in the alliance are in the fucking room!
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand that. Okay, so...
Bronte, you're an idiot!
Moving forward to the stupidity of the house... That was the stupidest house meeting I've ever seen in Big Brother.
This is still big stupid!
So Paulie questions Jose about the house meeting, and Jose is like, "Oh, well, I was protecting myself while making all this shit up," pretty much. Bridget is renowned. Paul obviously uses the video to save himself, and Bridget's renowned, and Dave found out that Bridget is a spy.
Yeah, well, Dave found out in the meeting, didn't
she?
She
but she says in the DR, like, "Oh yeah, Spy Girl came up."
And they made like a much bigger deal about this than they did in the feeds. Like on the feeds, they were just like, "Yeah, I mean, like Bridget's a spying, so we just know not to trust her in the future." Yeah. But we're still voting Jose out. But they probably talked her into saying that on the show just to get more ratings and for more unpredictability.
Okay.
Nope.
I guess all right. So diving into episode 5, we're on day 12. Josiah thinks Paulie won the roadkill competition. Mm-hmm. He's going back to Paulie like, "Oh, Paulie's the one that nominated Bridget." Blah, blah, blah.
And he's so funny when he does this. He's like, "Hold on. Yes, I got it. It's Paulie.
I can't.
It's Paulie.
I don't get. Okay.
No, it's Frank! God damn it, Jose.
I don't get this game anymore. I'm scared.
I got a good funny story about Jose.
Oh god. Okay, let's go. Let's do this recap and just fucking get this over with already. Jose thinks it's gonna be a landslide. God.
He's right though. It is.
Jose tells Nicole he has no issue with her. Nicole finds out Bridget's a spy, and the Fatal 5 is made within the episode, but we already talked about this Fatal 5.
Yeah, we talked about the Fatal 5 like episode 2, but let me talk about something really funny that Jose was telling Day. So he was like outside, and he's like, "Listen, once we all get to like final 8 or 9, he's like, I'm a respectable person, so what we're gonna do is to find out who gets out of the house, we're gonna pick Skittles out.
Oh my god!
And whoever gets a certain color gets voted out. That's why it's 100% fair, no hard feelings." And Day was like, "Yeah, of course." And then she reported to the other people in her actual alliance, and she was like, "Is this guy fucking retarded?"
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell does this guy think he is? And that's how you know he watched only Big Brother 16.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the worst season of all kind.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zacchaeus says that they'll take it to the end, the Fatal 5. Who knows? Maybe.
We already talked about some cracks in the alliance already. So
yeah.
And Frank's talking about getting Tiff out sooner than later.
Yeah, so Tiffany says she came up with the Fatal 5. I want to talk about that really quick.
I also want to talk
because
about that.
in Sequester 2.0, she did have an alliance called the Fatal 4, and Bryce actually is the one that came up with the name.
Right.
And now she's like, I came up with Fatal 5, blah, blah, blah. Like, you got it from Bryce.
Did he come up with the name, or did he come up...
He came up with the Triple Threat's name, and he also came up with the Fatal 4 name.
Bryce is pretty good at coming up with names.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bryce.
So, trademark Bryce.
Trademark Bryce.
I don't know. So, James put Manny... Going forward, James puts mayonnaise in a shampoo bottle.
Oh my god, I saw this on the feeds. It was so funny because she like lathered like her whole body with it.
Yeah.
And then Bronte just like opens it up and she's like, oh my god, ew, ew, ew. This is mayonnaise. And then Natalie's like, what? This is mayonnaise?
Yeah.
And then they're like joking around, James and Frank, and they're like, oh, well, you know, mayonnaise is actually pretty good for your skin and good for your hair. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking
so
about?
this part of the episode gets pretty good. Okay, so Bronte is like fishy right now. Like she's like, what the hell is going on? Why is no one making an effort trying to
sway their votes,
get our vote to save Paulie?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense why she's thinking that. Because usually in Big Brother, that's what you try to do.
Yeah. And Bridget says that Nicole's smart. Zakia tells Nicole everything, like, because they're outside and they're talking about it, and they're like, yeah, well, and we think Nicole's a mastermind genius, blah, blah, and, like, Zakia just goes and, you know, rats them out.
Right, and somehow calling Nicole smart is somehow bad to Nicole. She's like, how dare her say something like that?
Yeah.
She's a manipulating, smart person. That's what you want to be in Big Brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because Bridget sees it doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Calm down, Nicole, calm down. It's not an insult.
Oh my god.
It's a good thing.
Day's saying she wants Bridget out, blah, blah. Natalie doesn't like Mitch. James says, the whole entire girl talk thing. Remember James is like in the room and they're like, oh,
I have the actual live feed story on this. They didn't represent this well at all.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this is going to take a little while. But, okay, so basically Victor asked Nicole out on a date, right? And then, like, throughout, like, the day or whatever, Victor has just been insulting Natalie or whatever, and that was shown in the episode, and Natalie was just, like, pissed off. So they decided to have their little girl talk in the room, and James goes up, and James hears that Victor tried to ask Nicole out from Nicole, and so James asks Bronte and Bridget, and he's like, listen, should I tell her? Because I feel bad. I don't know how she'll react to it. And then Bronte goes out to the... Then Bronte goes outside, and that's the scene that we saw in the episode. Yeah. But they weren't talking about, I don't know what the fuck they were doing on the show, but it was actually in regards to the date thing. Yeah. So she asked Victor if he actually asked Nicole out on a date, and he's like, no, I didn't, which he did.
Yeah.
And so they all thought James was lying in order to manipulate Natalie to get her vote, and that's not what was happening at all. James was actually just caring about her feelings. So James did tell her about the date thing, but she didn't give a fuck about that at all because
I think Paul was upset because like James like Paul goes into the room and James is like, oh, we need girl time right now. Like what? Who the fuck are you to tell Paul that?
Yeah, right. And Paul was really upset about the girl talk thing from James, and also very upset about how he thought James was lying to Natalie about
James
that.
is like, I've never seen a season like this where drama starts this fast. Yeah, because people are stirring up the pot already.
Yeah, it's because it's your side of the house mostly. Yeah. So what ends up happening is Natalie eventually kind of like talks everyone around in the house, and she comes to the conclusion it's either that James was lying to her or that it was Victor lying to her, and she says that no matter what, it's someone she trusts that lied to her.
Yeah.
So she's talking to Frank about it in the bathroom, and Frank basically tells her, "Listen, Jose's coming home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't like I don't. It doesn't matter how you vote, but we're just letting you know that from now on, as long as you throw the HOH tomorrow, if you stick with us, everything's gonna be good, and you won't go on the block." And then Natalie she doesn't tell Jose or the rest of the house, but she kind of tells Bronte, she's like, I have a feeling Jose's going home tomorrow, and if he is, we have to rethink our strategy going forward. And Bronte's like, okay, no problem.
So I guess let's go with the live eviction. All right, so there's 11 people that are voting, so it only takes 6 votes to get eliminated.
Right.
Pretty much.
In the event of a tie, Nicole would vote.
Yeah, but the only way it would be a tie is if someone votes out Bridget. One person
exactly.
votes out Bridget in order for that to happen.
Or 3.
So, yeah.
Never know.
So, I guess we'll just start off with, So, Dave votes out Jose, James votes out Jose, Victor votes out Paulie, Bronte votes to evict Paulie, Frank and Tiff vote Jose out, Paul and Natalie vote Paulie out. So, it comes down to Corey, Michelle, and Zakia, and Corey and Michelle, they both vote out Jose, and Zakia also votes out Jose. So by a 7-4 vote, Jose was evicted from the Big Brother house.
And it was kind of anticlimactic because, like, I feel like Jose, I was expecting more of a reaction from Jose, but I'm actually I know the people at home were too, but I was very impressed with his demeanor leaving the house.
Yeah.
He gave everyone a hug. He was okay with it.
Yeah.
He understood. Like, I respected that of him, but I know people wanted to blow up, but do we really want to blow up? That's not good.
And also, I want to point out too, Paulie said on the live feed before this live eviction, he said that he, like, once Julie says, like, by a vote of 7-4, like, Paulie was gonna go and whisper to Jose's, whisper to Jose, say hi to Julie for me, and he didn't do that. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know why he didn't do it. What he should have done was pretend to start getting up, and then hear Jose, you have been sent home, and just put a look on his face like,
and that would have been funny.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, so Jose leaves the house, and he says that he's surprised with Natalie. Yeah, what the fuck is up with that?
So they thought that James flipped her vote, and the other day, the previous day, about what I was talking to you about before. They thought that that's what James was trying to do, which it wasn't. And Natalie even said herself that she was not flipping her vote because she promised Jose that she was keeping him. Yeah. And she said that even though I know that he's going, I'm still going to vote Paulie out because that's what I said I would do. But for going forward, just know that I'm with you guys and I'm not making any more promises.
I mean, whatever. So now there's 14 house guests left. But that Josiah, during the whole entire, what's it called? Goodbye messages. Days like, yeah, I want to work with you, Josiah, but like you're opening your big mouth, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Josiah didn't open his mouth, maybe he would have stayed.
That's
because Day and Zakiya are part of his team, and he kind of just was way too cocky about everything.
That's probably true. And when Julie asked him what would he do different, he says, "I'll shut my mouth."
And the good news is that he gets a chance to get back into the game.
That's right. So let's talk to you a little bit about this.
That was a blind side.
I know.
That was a blind side. We didn't expect that.
Actually, some people were, and some people weren't.
Yeah.
But a few people on Twitter that was speculating, but it was very surprising.
Right. So this is how it's going to work.
What's the twist called again?
It's called the battle back twist.
The battle back twist.
God damn it. Shit. Okay. So what happens is, like, Glenn and Josiah, they have to verse each other, and the person who wins that goes on and versus the next person that gets eliminated, and so on and so forth. So let's say this week Victor leaves, right? Victor has to vote. Victor has to beat either Glenn or Jose and keep going back and back, like forward.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
there was like a thing on Twitter where I think it was Jason or somebody else, Jason Moore or somebody else was like, so the person who leaves fifth has a really good chance of getting back in the game.
Basically.
Yeah. So pretty much Glenn has to fight everyone.
And I personally think that's the fairest thing to do, because when they say that, oh, well, you mean when someone that gets like, when usually a buyback is usually just one competition, and I don't really think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because it's like the person that gets ninth gets ninth place gets the first person that goes out fifth place. Like, is that really fair?
You think this twist is not fair?
No, this twist is fairer. Yeah. Much fairer. Because if you leave early, I mean, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you stay longer.
And it's going to be harder for you to...
Of course.
And that's why you have to fight your way back in there.
Go Glenn.
You're right. I feel like this season's more about competitions.
It's
more about winning competitions than strategy. Well, strategy in the social game does take a place into this game, but there's just a lot of competitions that are going on.
What I don't like about this season is that it just seems like this one big alliance is just going to take it all to the end so quickly. So it's BB16 all over again.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm hoping that somebody
would flip.
I'm hoping that something happens like something happened in BB13. Remember when Danielle left the vet team and started working with all the newbies?
Yeah.
I want something like that to happen.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
That might happen.
Maybe Tiff and I don't know who else would even go. No, I don't think any of them would.
Maybe Tiff and Michelle.
Yeah, Tiff and Michelle. Yeah, Tiff and Michelle could, but I'm trying to think if anyone on the vets would leave. Maybe Frank at some point if he saw all the girls working together. Jason. He wishes Jason was on the show.
Right? So we're talking about this new HOH competition. Mm-hmm. We're back with the teams again.
I didn't think it would be like that.
I told you it was gonna some shit like that was gonna go back into the teams again.
It's gonna end very quickly though. That whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end right after they do the battle back. Once the battle back is finished, they're gonna stop doing the teams. Mm. Unless the whole team is annihilated, but
I think the whole team deciding thing though is not good.
No,
it's
because they could just throw it.
Yeah, I mean, one, they can throw it, and two, the people with less people on their team have a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
So, like, once you start losing people, the teams that have 4 people have a great shot of winning.
Yeah.
And is that really fair? It's not. So I think in a week or two, We won't see. You'll still be safe if your team wins, but we'll see individual competitions like we're used to.
Yeah, right.
Like I was expecting yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think this team thing is going to last that long, honestly.
I also don't.
I just think it's so stupid, the whole team thing, because it's like another way for the vets to,
Yeah.
A vet hasn't been nominated, so of course it's. I feel like it's the favoritism of the vets.
Of course it is. And Frank's safe this week. That's bullshit.
It's all complete bullshit, yeah.
Not so Paulie would put him up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So this HOH, they have to pretty much they get to choose between two roads. They have to retrieve 10. Was it 10 berries?
40.
40 altogether, right. So they have to get 40 berries.
10 at a time.
10 at a time, right. Okay. So there's two paths that they could take. One shorter, but it's harder, and one is longer and it's easier.
Right, and Frank was talking about this after the competition, and he said he went the long route every single time, but he said after the competition, he tried going the shorter route, and he fell off the first time.
Yeah, that's what Natalie tried doing. She went to the shorter one, and she fell off.
In my opinion, though, I believe Natalie threw the competition due to what Frank told her yesterday. Frank told her the previous day, so Wednesday.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much it, and we have some spoilers. We got 2 spoilers.
Right, so if you don't watch live feeds, get out now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and follow us, but like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so spoilers, the person who won HOH was...
Paulie.
That's right, guys. Paulie won HOH.
Paulie won HOH, but we also want to say that because Paulie won HOH, that means 3 people in their team are also safe. Mm-hmm. So Bridget's safe, Michelle is safe, and Frank is safe. They're not going anywhere this week.
That is correct. So, that's actually pretty interesting because 2 of their people were both on the block last week.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like now we're guaranteed to get 3 new people on the block.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. I was rooting for Victor's team to win just because if Victor's team won, Victor, Bronte, or Natalie would have been HOH.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did want someone on Victor's team to win, which is James's team.
Yeah.
But they were, according to the feeds, they were still in the competition at the end, but they were just behind them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all right. None of them fell off. No one on Team Big Sister fell off. So good for them.
You mean Team Unicorn?
I mean Team
Unicorn. Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about
Big Sister's Devon's.
Okay, Devon's team. No one on their team fell off.
Yeah.
See, I'm getting confused already. So we also have the nominations that happened.
So, the nominations are Paul and Bronte.
Yeah, and that's not very surprising. They're 2 of the 4 votes that voted Paulie out.
Yep.
And their plan this week, Paulie's plan, is to backdoor Victor. Mm-hmm. So either he'll be up after the roadkill or he'll be up after the veto.
The only way I see Victor, pretty much the Revolution side, or whatever, the only way they can stay is if Victor wins veto and one of them wins the roadkill competition. Because then they could put a vet on the block, and then if they put up a vet, no matter what, if one of them wins the roadkill competition, a vet's going up for sure.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
100%. 100%.
And it's probably going to be James.
Yeah.
Yeah. James or Nicole. I'm betting on James though.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we'll predict.
I hope one of them wins the fucking roadkill comp.
Who would they put up if they didn't? I guess they would put up
Natalie or Victor.
Frank promised Natalie would not go up though. That'd be pretty shitty on him, and Natalie, they'd lose his trust.
It's just them 4, right? Yeah, Paul, Natalie.
Yeah.
Well, they can't put Bridget up.
Yeah, they can't.
So it's got to be those 4 combinations.
They have this huge ass alliance. They need to start trimming it down. Start trimming the fat down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe they should.
Like, why are they so threatened by 4 people?
Yeah, I know. Like they should be aligning with them, saying, "Listen, I'll keep you safe if you work with me."
Right, because there's
smaller things.
There's 14 left, and there's 4 of them. So 10 people against 4.
It's pretty.
I thought it was completely stupid. So they're just gonna get all 4.
Well, against 5, Bridget too.
Oh yeah, 5. My bad. But yeah,
9 against 5. Well, it's
9 against 5.
It's not as bad, but
yeah, but like next week they can't keep getting rid of them. It's kind of stupid just to keep yourself safe. I think
they're gonna keep doing it for if Victor gets out this week. Yeah. I think it's all gonna reset.
Yeah. Or I don't think they'll get rid of Paul.
Things typically reset at week 4, so if it doesn't reset by week 4, then we know it's going to be a boring season.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So let's just all be prepared for that, and that's our predictions.
Right. Okay. So predictions are done. Spoilers are done. Anything for live feeds right now?
Not really. Paul got a little concussion today. After Thursday's competition, he hit his head on like a bed, and he had to some bullshit. Mm-hmm. The 4 house guests that voted Paulie out are kind of sucking up. Surprise,
surprise. Not surprised at that.
Yeah. So
and Victor's all completely pissed off about whatever, fucking James threw it. Fuck James. Fuck them. We're gonna get picked off one by one. He knows. Victor knows that Day and Zakiya lied to them.
Yeah, basically.
They all know what's going on. After the vote count, it was kind of obvious.
Yeah, I agree completely. So I guess that's it for the episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of short and sweet and to the point.
Yeah. So please like, comment, and subscribe. So down below.
Mm-hmm. And until next time, see you guys.
Peace.
See you guys.